in the West, I think, has become extremely common to think that what the word God means is a being with the divine nature, right? So it's specifically the divine nature. And then it becomes very difficult to see how three hypostases with the divine nature don't turn into three gods, right? So I think it's important to note, like this might seem like a pedantic point, but it actually turns out to be pretty important. That Gregory of Nyssa vehemently denies that that's what the word God means in the Bible, anyway. And so then the way he does it is to say, he says, look, you've got the gods of the Gentiles are demons. Demons don't have the divine nature, right? And if you want to say something like, well, that's just, quote unquote gods, like those are just figments of people's imaginations. Well, it says that Yahweh executed judgment on all the gods of Egypt when they left. So when the Israelites left Egypt, it says, and Yahweh executed judgment on all the gods of Egypt. Like he wasn't executing judgment on figments of his imagination, right? He was executing judgment on some kind of supernatural beings, whatever those were. I mean, and you
Michael Heise. Back
exactly,
to Michael
Heiser thing. And they're probably, I mean, I would say, sure, these are, you can say that's fallen angels or whatever. But the point is, if fallen angels are being referred to as gods, then they don't have the divine nature, right? So you can't say that the word God just always means something with the divine nature. And Gregory of Nyssa points out also Moses. So he says Moses was appointed as a god to Pharaoh, and he says you can't be appointed to have a nature or essence. You're appointed to have a certain position, or do something. And there's numerous things that Gregory points to, reasons why the word God can't be associated just sort of directly with the divine nature. There's a connection, but he says that the connection is that the word God indicates this activity that is proper to the divine nature, but that other things can engage in too. And so it doesn't just sort of directly, there's not just a direct one-to-one correspondence between the word God and being with the divine nature. And really, Gregory says it's really the activity that's the focal meaning. And so when we say, if you want to say the Father, Son, and Holy Spirit are one God, they're not one God because of the shared nature necessarily. They're one God because of the shared activity.